The response to yesterday's terrorist attack in France has been a mixed bag, to say the least. Some press outlets are doubling down on free expression, which is a good thing, and I commend them for that. But there are others, like CNN and AP, that are absolutely cowering, and they're not showing the pictures from Charlie Hebdo, and they're not showing any pictures of Muhammad because they don't want to offend people. Well, what I would say to those people or those companies is, you miss the entire purpose of civil liberties. You miss the entire purpose of rights. You miss the entire purpose of standing up for our beliefs, being liberal beliefs. I mean, it's supposed to be the case that it doesn't matter who you offend about anything. We have freedom of speech. The only things you can't do are libel, slander, and, you can't directly threaten people's lives. But, I mean, there's so few exceptions to free speech, and it should be that way. Never based on political content or religious content alone can you say, I don't agree with that, or you're offending me, so get rid of it. But CNN is caving. It's the exact wrong response. AP and CNN should be, maligned across the board for this decision because they're letting the terrorists win when you do this. You're telling them, hey, your violence worked, so next time something like this happens, do it again, and we'll listen again. Terrible, terrible thing. So, but overall, again, the reaction has been mixed because some outlets are standing up. And also the response in other ways has been mixed. So there are many people who are doing peaceful demonstrations. I would agree with those people, and I would tell them to keep doing it. I think it's a good thing. But then there's also this, quote, several Muslim places of worship were attacked overnight on Thursday. 3 blank grenades were hurled at a mosque after midnight in the city of Le Mans. A bullet hole was also found in one of the mosque's windows. In Port-la-Nouvelle, shots were fired in the direction of a Muslim prayer hall, though prosecutors say the hall was empty. In Villefranche-sur-Saône, you can tell I don't speak French, an explosion was reported near a mosque, which prosecutors have dubbed a, quote, criminal act. There were no casualties in that situation. So the response to it has been bad in this respect, because people are, while nobody's been hurt yet, this is a bad road to go down. Shooting guns at mosques and throwing blank grenades and setting fires and setting off bombs and stuff. Again, nobody's hurt, but they're doing property damage. Okay, no. Stop. You're literally not going to find anybody who is stronger on this issue. I am totally uncompromising on the idea that even when people say, they shouldn't have killed the cartoonist, but they shouldn't have drawn the pictures either. No. I don't give a fuck about your feeling. This is how free societies work. It doesn't matter if your feelings are hurt. You don't get to censor the other person. Period. End of conversation. So you're not going to find anybody stronger on this issue. But that doesn't mean you do your own violence. When you do violence, you're not the opposite of the people you hate. You're just the other side of the same coin of hatred and bigotry and intolerance. So while Muslim fundamentalists and terrorists are they're intolerant of Western society, they're intolerant of freedom of speech and freedom of expression, they're bigots towards those ideas and bigots towards modernity. Well, if you start doing violence and attacks on innocent Muslims, well, you're just an opposite extremist. You're just intolerant of other ideas that don't agree with you when these people, again, are innocent. They're not attacking people who were part of this attack. They're attacking innocent people. They're just lumping in all Muslims. Well, there's 1.6 billion Muslims in the world. So what, they're all guilty because some fringe people did this? And look, again, you could have a conversation as to how big the fundamentalist Muslim movement is, and it's a bigger percentage of the Muslim movement than of the Christian movement. Those are all fine discussions to have, and you can make distinctions. Like in the U.S., Christian terrorism and anti-government terrorism is a bigger problem than Muslim terrorism. In the Middle East and in Europe, that's not the case. Well, I don't know about Europe because they have a neo-fascist problem. That's on the rise. But there are places around the world where Muslim terrorism is the biggest problem. So you can make distinctions overall. I'm not saying that you can't make distinctions. But either way, you do not do violence. Either way, you don't lump everybody in together and say the other is the problem, because that's what they do. That's what the fundamentalists do. So understand, just like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, you can't work your way out of the darkness with more darkness. You can only do it with light. The only time violence is ever acceptable is if you're doing self-defense. That's it. There's no other time you can justify violence. So if you're trying to get retribution or revenge and you're driving around and you're just picking out random Muslim places and you're doing attacks, you're not helping the situation. And of course, this is going to further inflame everything, because what's going to happen in response? You're going to have more Muslim fundamentalists use that as more evidence that they should keep attacking you, and then you're going to go back and attack again, and then they're going to attack you again, and then round and round we go, and there's nobody who's being rational. Here's the reality. I condemn completely the fundamentalist Muslim movement, and I condemn completely the neo-fascist movement and the far-right movement. And everybody needs to... cooler heads need to prevail, and everybody needs to rise above and realize that extremism on either side isn't the answer.